Hi, I'm Carolyn Logue here for the Puyallup Sumner Chamber of Commerce, and with me today is Bruce DAMMEIER, who's running for the Pierce County Executive. Have a few questions for you, and I'm asking everyone these questions, so giving you an opportunity to say where you are on the issues.
Great, Carolyn. It's good to be back in Puyallup. I'm surprised you didn't bring scones.
I tried. I brought Delano coffee.
Oh, perfect.
All right. First of all, what do you think is the most important issue in your race?
Without question, the number one issue that we need for our county is growing our county's economy. We have been lagging coming out of the recession. We've seen our unemployment rate is higher and has been for a long time than King, Snohomish, Kitsap, and Thurston counties. Our median income actually went down $315, where King counties went up $10,000. And here's why that's a huge problem. That means my citizens here in Puyallup, as an example, are spending 3 hours a day on 167 commuting north to find good paying jobs. If we provide those jobs here in Pierce County, it has a lot of really positive beneficial effects. First of all, it takes those people off the road and frees up the traffic problem, right? Secondly, it gives them a much higher quality of life. If they're not spending that 3 hours on the road, they can spend it coaching their kids' soccer team or being involved in school. Other examples of that is as our economy picks up, as our median family income rises, housing becomes more affordable. We have less homelessness. That's a positive. The other thing is it helps drive our economy forward in general. It'll mean more jobs here, which means we'll be spending more money here. It's a positive all the way around. The rising tide lifts all boats, and our tide hasn't been rising here in Pierce County, and we have to. Otherwise, we're at risk of becoming kind of effectively a bedroom community to Seattle.
And how specifically would you support the business community in Pierce County?
There's a lot of things that we need to do to support the business community. And I'll tick off three things that are particularly important. The first is regulatory relief, right? We have seen this cumulative effect of regulations, which have made it really hard to do business here in Pierce County. I know this personally. My family has been printing in Pierce County since 1934. I ran the operations in the 90s of a 650-person company. We've sold that company, and I'm now still in printing today. I'm proud of the 200 employees we have doing very high-quality work out in Lakewood. But we understand the impact of regulation and how that stifles business. I could give you story after story about how existing businesses with family wage jobs trying to expand have been stopped by that. So first is regulatory relief. The second is focusing all of our economic development efforts in a more directed way. Right now we have a lot of good efforts, but they're going in different directions and they're not coordinated. We need a common vision for Pierce County so we can leverage those resources in support of one another as we attract new businesses. Another example of that is about partnering with our educational institutions. A great example would be UW-T. I've been on that board since 2006. It has been a great driver of economic improvement, but needs to go stronger. Think of their informational technology program. I want to see an engineering program grow there with now that Mark Pagano is there as an engineer. And I think we also need to grow a law program. I think that's important. Lastly, what it really needs, and what we haven't had in Pierce County, is a strong leader setting the tone. And the Pierce County Executive is the only person who is in a position to exert that kind of leadership. That's the kind of executive I want to be. I think it's good for all of our citizens.
Okay. This is an issue here. What is your position on the minimum wage and paid leave? There's an initiative. Tacoma has passed something. What is your position on this?
So there's no question that our minimum wage hasn't kind of kept pace with the reality of the world, right? But I have some concerns about what we're doing here. And first of all, let me say that I think there are three wages that I think are worth of talking about. One is the minimum wage or starting wage. The other is a livable wage. But the most important one is a family wage. And that's what I want to really focus on. I'm concerned that some of the misplaced efforts, or some of the efforts well-intentioned around minimum wage and paid and sick leave and mandating benefits by government, can result in things that could be actually harmful to folks trying to get new jobs. But for the most part, I want to focus on family wages. We don't want to be just aiming for the bottom. We want to lift up, we want to give our citizens opportunities to get great jobs that they can raise a family and buy a house and have the life that we would want for them. That's why you got to focus on family wage jobs, not minimum wage jobs.
Okay. What tax increase would you support, if any?
You know, that's a good question. And Carolyn, you've seen my work down in Olympia. I'm a tax as a last option kind of guy, but have gone there, and with reforms. So the first thing, and I think what our citizens expect of us, is they want to know that we are using the current money we have to the best possible effect. And there's a couple of areas. We're going to talk about mental health here as an example. The recent behavioral health study that just came back, 127 pages, the number one thing it said is that there's no system of care. The service that we're doing for our mentally ill within Pierce County right now is uncoordinated, that we're not leveraging our resources, we're not getting common impact. So the first thing you need to do there is make sure we're bringing common impact. The second thing, before I would consider a tax increase, and I am seriously considering the mental health tax increase, but the citizens deserve to know how we're going to use it, how it's going to be used well, how it's going to change the situation that they see on the ground, so they can agree that there's an investment that needs to be made and that is best for our mentally ill and also for all of our citizens. So when it comes to that mental health tax, as an example, I could support it with kind of reforming our current system so it becomes more effective and using that new money in a way that is really strategically focused to kind of move the needle so our mentally ill citizens get better care and that our other citizens see less of the impacts of that, right? We could do things like lower the number of mentally ill in our jail, which will also lower our jail costs. We could divert mentally ill from our emergency departments, and that'll free up emergency space and make the waits shorter for everybody. So that's the kind of thing we have to do, is make sure when you're looking at using or increasing the amount of citizen money that we are using, they have to be shown that we're using it well.
Okay. And then are there any specific jobs you would bring to the community, and how would you do that?
Yeah, some of the specific jobs that I would focus on as an example, the first thing I probably would say is some of the areas that I am particularly looking at are growing the entrepreneurial side of Pierce County and Tacoma. Mm-hmm. Some of the areas where I think we're ripe to do that. You remember when Frank Russell closed, right? We had some of the most talented financial managers in the world living in Pierce County and working in downtown Tacoma. Now most of those are living in Pierce County and commuting to downtown Seattle. Mm-hmm. Terrible quality of life. That is a great opportunity for us, and I've talked to a number of them to start a new kind of financial management sector here in Pierce County and in Tacoma, where we can put together smaller firms, not trying to recreate Russell, not trying to hit a home run and land Amazon, but create an environment that allows entrepreneurial spirit to grow and these kind of new financial businesses to kind of pop up. We've got a workforce. They don't want to be working in Seattle. They would rather be working in Pierce County. That's a great opportunity. The same thing in combining with University of Washington Tacoma, kind of as I said before, focusing on information technology. The Institute of Technology there is doing great work, and we could focus on cybersecurity as another kind of smaller sector related to information technology. And as I talked before about engineering. There's other things that we could talk about. We could talk about growing agricultural jobs here in Pierce County. We could talk about making our timber jobs more value add timber, not just commodity, so we can help our rural economy. There's a lot of places we could go with this. I'd love to talk even more about it.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate your time today.
You bet. Thank you, Carolyn.
Welcome.